What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we're going to be diving into a little recap of Sony's PlayStation Showcase 2023. Now, this is going to be probably a more shorter episode than normal, so this isn't going to be a full length podcast episode, but I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on the showcase and some of the things that I'm excited for from it. But before I dive into all that, because even though this isn't a full podcast episode, I still gotta show love to those of y'all out there, because if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Dad Needs to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, and today's topic, gaming. So, Sony, it was a long road to get back to a PlayStation Showcase, because it had been, man, a couple of years at this point since we had one with this name. And so, of course, leading up to it, there was a lot of expectations and stuff building up to it. And for me personally, there was a lot of life built up in the day of the showcase. And I'm going to give just a little side story on my adventure to getting to watch this showcase, because of course, of all days that the showcase was going to be at and the time it was going to be at, I'm like, this is the freaking cross section of the busiest time of the day on the busiest day of the week with me and my kids' schedules and stuff, because of course all three of my older kids that do sports all had stuff literally at overlapping times. So I'm here in Texas. So the showcase started at 3 o'clock. At that point, I was already in the car heading home from work. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be driving. I'm going to be on my commute. So, of course, easy for me to stay away from social media. So pretty much from like 2 something until 10, almost 11 o'clock that night, I was off of social media, off of YouTube, everything. So I managed to dodge everything. But just like the 2 years leading up to this, whatever, that of course led to a lot of build up and stuff, even just mentally, I'm like, man, I can't wait till I get home and sit down. Because, man, my body, I went through a gauntlet to get to that point. I think I literally pulled up my Google Maps and I typed in all the locations, and that's just like even just me having to going from home to work, back home, to taking my son to basketball in one location, back home, taking one daughter to practice, back home, or then taking my other daughter to another practice, then going back to pick up my son, then coming back, and all that stuff. I was putting in all those spots. I did so much traveling that I didn't even know that Google had a limit. So Google was like, hey, you can't add no more stops. We can no longer calculate how much driving you did today. And at the point that I was able to calculate, I did over 120 something miles within a span of 3 to 5 hours, I believe. So your boy was tired. So yeah, so like I said, long road getting to here, whatever. And so I know on the other side of this, a lot of people, because I've had time to kind of look at some of the reactions to stuff from after the showcase, whatever, and seeing a lot of people disappointed and stuff. And I get it. Hey, as somebody, I got a PS5. I'm rocking a PlayStation shirt. I am no brand ambassador, whatever. This is just a very dope shirt that I got many years back, with even this cool design on the back of it or whatever. But of course, I don't have too many situations to where I'm gonna really be out wearing this whatever too much whatever. But I decided to bust it out because, like I said, I understand a lot of the general disappointment and stuff that happened with the showcase and stuff. Because there wasn't really that many big first party exclusive games from Sony here or whatever. But I still, for me personally, this was still a showcase full of things for Robert. Now, here at the house in my family, uh, my wife and my close friends know what type of games I'm playing. I primarily play a lot of story heavy single player games, and of course dive into like some very weird and different indie games and stuff too. And so of course there was plenty of, like I said, what my wife calls Robert games. And that is what excited me from this. And actually I'm gonna just pop this up and just kind of just let this video run through or whatever as I kind of talk. But there was a pretty decent amount of stuff that spoke to me personally. Aside from, and you know what, let me just go ahead and just pull it up. The big one that they closed the show out with, which I know a lot of people kind of felt like Spider-Man 2, we had a strong feeling was going to be here at the showcase, but its position in the showcase, I think was gonna kind of set the tone of how the showcase went, to where if the showcase would have opened with Spider-Man 2, it'd be like, yo, if they starting with this, then they got some more crazy stuff coming. But on the flip side, it's like, but if they end with it, it's like, man, okay. And they ended with it. They ended with this very dope 10-minute long gameplay demo of it or whatever, which in hindsight, part of me was like, dang it, I really didn't need to see any more of this game because I was already hype and excited for this game. So I didn't need to be sold on it. I was gonna be there day one regardless. And so seeing some of the stuff with the symbiote suit and some of, you know, him and Miles' new powers and stuff and abilities and combo moves and stuff, whatever, it was like, this is all super dope to see. The wing suit and stuff with Miles flying through the city and going through wind tunnels and stuff to catching up, get the speed boost or whatever. The game looks freaking phenomenal. And this is one that I'm like, hey, when it comes time for the game, goodbye kids, you know, won't be seeing dad for a little bit, or I'm gonna have a do not disturb sign on my door. Of like, hey, let me chill, let me live my best life and just enjoy this game. But I'm gonna be all in. And honestly, I don't need to see nothing else from this game. That, like I said, that is just how impressive this demo and stuff was. Freaking Miles with a freaking Kamehameha wave. Shocking attack and stuff. So but yeah, so Spider-Man was obviously a big one for me. Another really big one, let me see, I'm trying to scroll through and find it, was Alan Wake 2. Now, I've never played the original Alan Wake, which, because back in the day it was originally only on Xbox, and even though now, of course, they recently in the last year or so put out like a remastered version of it on PlayStation or whatever. I still don't know if I'm gonna go back and play that one or whatever, or if I might give this one a try. Now, a lot of y'all know your boy, I'm not too big into spooky games and stuff, but if it's not too deep into the horror realm or whatever, I might kind of still maybe want to dip my toe, because I do enjoy some nice suspense thriller type of vibes. and this might kind of fill that gap. But Alan Wake 2 looks freaking phenomenal, and it looks like you kind of bounce back and forth between both playing as Alan Wake, but also playing as this black female FBI agent, which, like I said, just visually the game looks freaking stunning. And I can't remember. Let me see if I can find it. What her name was. Let me see if I can find it really, really quick. Hold on. Yes, her name is Saga Anderson. I don't know, something about that name. I love that name. That name is like super dope. Um, and one cool, just kind of just like side thing, whatever, about like with this showcase, whatever, that I noticed, which was just dope to see, whatever. Oh, and Alan Wake 2 is coming out October 17th. Um, but there was a nice variety of like representation and stuff, whatever, in it. Whether it be, you know, black people, or even like with Assassin's Creed Mirage, which actually they showed that. I think, was that before or yeah, okay, yeah, it was right after, right after this, whatever. But this takes place in Baghdad, and yeah, so it was just like a lot of like nice variety of just different people, of all shapes and sizes in all the different games that they show, which was super dope. And I guess I'll go and dive into this real quick. So Assassin's Creed Mirage, like I said, takes place in the location is Baghdad, uh, and so from my understanding, this originally started off as a another expansion uh, from Valhalla, but it grew into being its own game because I guess this character, and I think his name is Basim, I think. Uh, and Assassin's Creed Mirage is dropping October 12th. Shout out to, that's my oldest nieces and nephews' birthdays. Uh, but the Mirage is going back to more like the older style original games, basically the games before Assassin's Creed Origins, where they changed up the style and stuff of it. So I don't know, I've kind of got burnt out on Assassin's Creed, and so this might be a case to where like a lot of, like Ubisoft games, a lot of games in general nowadays, by the time Black Friday rolls around and it's the holiday time, whatever, I'll probably pick it up then, on sale or something, whatever. But because I wouldn't mind trying out, like I said, something going back. It might be weird going back to an older style after all these years later, or whatever. But hey, like I said, if I can maybe get it for a good deal, I'll be open to trying that out. So now, get into some of these Robert games. So one of the ones that I was super happy about, let me see. I think it was called. Let me skip ahead a little bit. I think it was it Remnant Hills? Let me see. Revenant Hill. Yes. So, as soon as I saw the art style and stuff, I was like, this is freaking the Night in the Woods developers. And I freaking loved Night in the Woods. Shout out to the homie Steve from Inside of the Mind of a Blurred. He played it recently. Maybe it was this year, sometime last year, whatever. After I talked about it so much, whatever. But like, that was just such a hard hitting story game that just like really impacted me when I played it. Like I said, I think I played that game. I think it came out like in 2017. I think it's like around like the same year that the Switch came out, and my son Vash was born, and I got married. So a lot of life changes and stuff that happened, and just the story of those characters was just very touching. But yeah, Revenant Hill was a cool, unexpected surprise that I was happy to see. This other game, what was this thing called? Ultros. Very, very interesting art style. It honestly kind of reminded me of kind of like that weird look, but unique vibe of like Hollow Knight. But instead of like a world of bugs, it's like an alien world and design or whatever. But like, cause even like the way the character fall through the ground, the way they're jumping up through the levels or whatever, reminds me a lot of those levels in the Hollow Knight and stuff. And like I said, even when they get to I keep on full screening this, but fighting some of the enemies and stuff in the game, it just like heavily gave those vibes and stuff. But what was the other one? I can't find it. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll back through. I guess I'll shout out some of the other ones along the way too. Even though I didn't really, wasn't really nothing I was super interested in or whatever. But like a big one that they started off with was a game called Fair Games. Now this is from Haven Studio, which was recently acquired by Sony because of the some of the basically like the studio head is Jade Raymond, who she is one of the creative minds behind the original run of the Assassin's Creed franchise and Watch Dogs and the original early Watch Dogs series, which you kind of got some of those Watch Dogs vibes from this game, and kind of find out, and one of the reasons why is because I think like the creative director or something like that of one of like the creative leads of this game was a creative lead on the Watch Dogs series. So I'm like, okay, that kind of explains it. But this kind of looks like a first person kind of like shooter heist type of game. We didn't get to see actual gameplay or whatever, but I'm like, okay, might be interesting. Let me see, just some other stuff I'm just going to shut as I'm just going through Helldivers 2. Heard good things about that first one, never really played much of it. That Avium game, which was kind of like a first person magic shooter type of game or whatever. So very, very interesting and unique kind of like combination of genres and stuff, but don't know if it'll be anything I will really play. Phantom Blade. This Phantom Blade Zero game. Now, this was a Robert game. Cause as soon as I saw kind of like a ninja style looking character going through a world, slick, smooth gameplay, unique looking characters and enemies and stuff and fights, I was like, this game is just screaming Robert all over it. But yeah, kind of like a mix of like Ghost of Tsushima, Ninja Gaiden vibes and stuff. But yeah, Phantom Blade looked very nice. Yes. Here it is, Sword of the Sea, which is a game produced by Giant Squid, who they are some of the people behind, or at least like one of the creative people working on this, or that team worked on Journey and Abzu, and what was the Pathless. So yeah, I was very excited seeing this game. Whatever, like I said, like Journey especially was a game that I loved, and it's kind of crazy to think that was over a decade ago. But just seeing the look and style of this game, I was like, yep, that's gonna be another Robert game that I'm gonna get and dive into. Let me see, this game called Neva by the same team who did Grease, which was a very pretty artistic game that came out some years ago. So this game, what was this thing called? Foam Stars. This thing is pretty much like Sony and Square Enix approach or attempt to try to do something Splatoon like. Because at first when I first saw it, I was like, okay, what is this? And as soon as I started shooting out the foam and it was like different colors and stuff, I was like, this is freaking Splatoon. or wannabe Splatoon. But I don't know. I'm probably not gonna play it, and who knows? It might come out and be a fun thing, but I wasn't really feeling that too much, and so I'm like just scrolling through. Now this game, the uh, the the Plucky Squire. I have been so intrigued with this game since the first time that they showed it off, because this is the one where it's kind of like a 2D adventure, but then the character literally leaps off the pages and goes into like the real world, and it just looks so freaking cute and fun. I could tell this. It kind of gives me a little bit of kind of like a Tinykin vibes that I've mentioned before. That me and Vash had a blast playing last year, and but yeah. So the Plucky Squire, another fun, like I said, fun looking game that I look forward to diving into with my son. Um, but aside from that, there was some they showed off the rumored Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I don't have any affinity for the Metal Gear series, so that it didn't do nothing for me. But just to for information's sake, for those of y'all listening and stuff. Now, what was this other game? Can't remember the name of it, but it was this other game that kind of looked unique and interesting. Um, that like I said, I might at least like keep my eye on it. Um, Sorry, what was the name of it? Okay, I keep going past the name. Towers of Axba. Don't know, but looks interesting. What else did they do? Another trailer for Final Fantasy 16. No interest in that series myself, but hey, shout out to my homie Bree and those of y'all out there that are excited about that. The game looks freaking fantastic, but like I said, just not really a Robert game. What else? Some RPG thing I don't really have an interest in. Showed off more Street Fighter 6, which hey, between that the betas they doing and Lil Wayne doing the promos for it and stuff, whatever. Hey, they might end up getting my coins, maybe, I don't know. They showed off some of Dragon's Dogma 2, which, like I said, that's also not really my thing, but just super happy for the people that's been waiting years and years for a sequel to that game. I'm trying to think. That might be it as far as like notable stuff I want to talk about. Yeah, like I said, they show like a few VR things that none of them really caught my attention. Bungie is going back to one of the first games that they ever worked on back in the 90s called Marathon. I've heard that name over the years, but I have no frame of reference of what it was, whatever. But it looks like they're at least bringing the name back and stuff. So they're doing some new shooter, um, like I said, based around that original game that they worked on back in the mid 90s, long before they were known for doing Halo and, of course, now Destiny. Which, speaking of which, they are doing some new thing with Destiny where they're bringing back K6. Don't know how that's all gonna go or whatever. I haven't really been able to be in the Destiny lore and all that stuff and so freaking long, so I'm a little bit out the loop on that. But hey, shout out to the Destiny community, which I also got to shout out really quickly. They announced this PlayStation Studios and Destiny collaboration to where they're doing a lot of armor sets in the game based off of some of the biggest franchises. So like there's like a Kratos / God of War inspired armor set. There's a Aloy Horizon set. There's a Jin Ghost of Tsushima set. There's even like some Ratchet and Clank emote things or something, whatever. And then like some of like your weapons and your sparrow and your ghosts and stuff were themed after like the clicker cordyceps from Last of Us. So all that stuff looked super dope. And that's how I had to make sure I mentioned that really quickly. But yeah. Oh, aside from that, they also confirmed the rumored handheld streaming device that's currently codenamed I think Q Lite. They didn't really go into any more information as far as like pricing or any other details on it, but just that hey, it basically has a 8-inch screen, basically in the middle of your dual sense, because they say it's still gonna have all the same functions and haptics and all that stuff of the DualSense controller, but it's basically like they just like split it in half. Basically, kind of like a Nintendo Switch, where it's like the two halves of your DualSense will be on this 8-inch screen. So I'll be interested to see more about that or whatever. Don't know if it will be a day one purchase for me or whatever, but I do have a use case for it. Because of my life and family or whatever, it's where things are so busy. Sometimes, all my TVs in my house or whatever, or hey, maybe I'm just moving around the house, or I want to be in bed and play some of my games, whatever. That might be a good companion device depending on how much it costs and stuff. So, and honestly, I personally would be fine with a streaming only device because I have a Nintendo Switch or whatever for whenever I'm outside of the house or whatever, which even that I don't really do too much on the go gaming or whatever, because now in my position as a family man, I'm doing majority of the driving, so I'm not really like I was back in the day driving or in the passenger seat, in the back seat or whatever, enjoying the car ride, playing my handheld games or whatever. So if this device is just strictly a hey, streaming device only at home, whatever, then like I said, for me personally, that would fit into my lifestyle and my life setup and stuff. So I don't know, like I said, if the prices isn't too crazy, whatever, it might be something I would legit take a look at. But like I said, all in all, like I said, there was a solid amount of stuff for Robert, for me. Now, like I said, yes, it was very disappointing in some sense that we still haven't seen Last of Us Factions. That was like a lot of people thought that was like a slam dunk prediction that like of course Factions is going to be there. With like I said, with the way they were kind of like promoting this showcase, it's kind of like those last two showcases years ago kind of set the tone and the stage for what happened with PlayStation 5 and PlayStation in general over the last few years. And so it was kind of like, okay, hey, it's time to kind of see maybe what some of these first party studios and stuff are cooking up. But unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is still a mystery. And it's like, okay, what is going to happen next or whatever. So, but like I said, still some dope things for myself. And, I'm sure, Sony will still come strong with some dope things in the future. But as far as myself, I will have plenty on my plate to play for the time being, because like I mentioned before on recent episodes, I'm still playing through Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm pretty sure I'll probably get that wrapped up in the coming weeks. I don't really have an affinity for any of the fighting games and stuff, whatever, so I'm not really going to be getting Street Fighter 6. I'm not going to be getting Final Fantasy 16, and I didn't get Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and all that stuff, whatever. So, but I probably will be visiting some of these smaller games that are coming out soon or are about to come out or whatever. So I have plenty of smaller games I need to go back and clean up. But all in all, like I said, this showcase was fine for me. Me personally, I would give this, for my own taste, a solid B. I know people giving it freaking C's and D's and saying it's 2 packs of booty and all that stuff. I'm like, I get the frustration, but also, like I said, I understand, different strokes and different tastes for people there. But for your boy Rob, for Dad Needs to Talk, this was a showcase for me. And that's it is what it is, and so we would just continue to march forward and to see what the rest of the industry has to bring, because Xbox was out there being cheeky yesterday with showing that a good chunk of games that was shown at the showcase is also going to be on Xbox and PC and other, Nintendo and other stuff, whatever. And it's like, hey, it's all good. Get your jabs in and stuff, whatever. But that Xbox showcase is in 2 weeks, so we'll see what the temperature is like once they get through and show off their lineup of stuff. Once they show off Starfield more in depth and stuff, whatever, we'll have another conversation then to see, like, okay, did they bring the heat and stuff, whatever. But it's all good. It's all gaming. I'm just here to see some dope games, and like I said, I did, and like I said, it was very awesome to see many studios and stuff that I honestly didn't think I would really ever see another game from. Giant Squid, and or the people behind Journey and the people behind Not in the Woods and different stuff like that, whatever. So that warmed my heart. Like I said, on top of the big banger that was Spider-Man 2, man. So lots of good gaming ahead for your boy Rob, and yeah, and I think, like I said, with that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, I'm not really gonna dive into any other stuff. That I've been reading, watching, all that stuff, whatever. I'll say that for next time, because your boy is tired. About to go into a holiday weekend, so I hope all of y'all have an awesome day, weekend, all that jazz, and I hope y'all have some awesome gaming. And as I always say, treat yourselves to something nice. Read some manga, watch some anime and TV. Definitely play some video games and live your best life, and let me know what y'all thought of the showcase. Did you feel I was being too easy on them, or do y'all agree with me that there was some great things shown, even though yes, there was some disappointment, but there was also some positives in the mix? But hey, Sony, bring us a couple more heavy hitters and the next one and stuff, man. But all in all, let me know what y'all thought of this, and like I said, happy gaming to all y'all out there. Y'all be safe, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.